Now it's time to be dangerous. Now it's time to get risky. Now it's time to truly find out what you're made of and what you could achieve. Now it's time to truly find out how many lives you can impact. Now it's time to find out what you were destined to become.
What up, everybody? We got a good episode for you today. We got another great guest. We are Raw Minds. I am Eric.
And I am Anthony.
And we're here to kick some ass and drop another episode, man. So, how you been, buddy?
Good. So before we start, I need to ask you a question. Since we are a podcast on men's mental health, I just wanted to check in with you and see how you're doing after last night's game.
I'm okay, man.
You okay?
I'm okay, bro. Yeah, man.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I didn't even really watch it. I got to stop to watch the halftime show, which I thought was garbage.
You thought it was garbage?
I fucking thought it was garbage, bro. I didn't like it at all.
I didn't get to watch any of it because my kids lost the fucking remote for the TV.
I remember you said that.
I still don't know where it is, man. I still don't know where it is. So
you need to put an air tag on that bad boy, man.
I know, just duct tape it to it. Fuck.
Yeah, no, I was too busy moving, bro. I'm moving into the new house. We're going to have a podcast studio in the house, man. I got a room set up for it, so it's going to be awesome. So it's going to be a little bit of a change there. I'm excited. So, man. By
your own space.
Yeah, dude. So, next Saturday I should be moved in. So,
It's a long weekend this weekend, too.
Is it really?
Family Day, bro.
Holy fuck.
We get Monday off.
Yeah, not us, man. We still go, bro. Doesn't matter.
Oh, not us. Yeah.
Not us.
I'm not going to fucking work on Monday.
No, we'll be filming, man. We'll be filming.
Yeah, we'll be filming. Yeah. We'll be working on some other stuff too. I'm so ready to not do my job anymore.
You know what, man? I wish we could just do this full time, man. You know, I feel like I've starting to outgrow my job definitely because this fills my bucket.
Dude, I literally had this conversation on the phone with my buddy 20 minutes ago. He was asking me about the podcast and stuff, and he's a garbage truck driver and he's been doing it for a long time, but he's got a daughter who's 7 years old, and he's never home, and he's like, man, I can't do this anymore. And I'm like, dude, I get it. You outgrow your current lifestyle, the way I explain it is I'm living a life that I wanted to achieve when I was young. I wanted to work construction. I wanted to build houses. I'm doing that. And now I'm older. This is happening, I've just outgrown that part of my life. I'm fucking tired, bro. I'm tired of putting a tool belt on, and the tool belt that I just spent $600 on, I fucking hate it. I'm going to send an email to the company because it's terrible.
What is it? What kind?
It's a Badger. It's by Occidental Leather. I told you about it, I think.
Yeah, Occidental, yeah.
Yeah, but where the fucking hammer holder is, it's in between your thigh and the pouch on the inside, and where the hammer goes, the hammerhead actually sticks out. So when I'm in someone's house, I'm fucking smashing into drywall with my hammer all day.
Shit. Yeah, you don't want to be bashing that.
Yeah, and I can't get it in and out of the pocket, and the pockets are too thin and they're really deep, and I can't grab it's just bullshit. I'm gonna send him an email and just be like, this is fucking garbage. I've spent thousands of dollars with you guys, and this is the worst purchase I've ever made.
Really? That bad, eh?
It's that bad, yeah. And I'm not a guy to do that.
Can you add like me? I like my hammer in the back, behind me. You know what I mean? I don't like it on the side. I like it behind, right? It's easy just to grab. It doesn't get in my way.
Yeah. So the tool belt that I used to have, I loved it because it had the hammer holder on the back side of the one pouch because I had two holsters because I use an aluminum brake all day. So I have the they're big shears. They're scissors, but they're massive for cutting aluminum. So I keep those in my back, and then I keep my hammer on the side of my pouch, which I love. But I saw this belt, I was like, oh, this might be good. And it's a fucking terrible purchase. Terrible purchase.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that, buddy. Hopefully they hook you up or do something for you, man.
I'll plug Raw Minds while I'm sending them the email too.
Fucking rights. You better do that, man.
What episode are we on? 26?
Yes, it is 26, man.
I'll be like, if you guys want a raw, unfiltered review of your fucking product, check out episode 26.
Yeah. So if you're listening, you better fucking hook buddy up, man. Yeah. This is not cool, man.
Sponsor us. I'll wear your hats.
There you go. Yeah,
I'll even wear a tool belt while I'm.
We need a sponsor, man. We would love to have a sponsor.
Fuck yeah.
Well, I think it's time to fucking jump in. I just want to bring a little bit. So, our guest today is Juan. He's an author of Unbroken, Turning Pain into Purpose. He's a motivational speaker and an advocate for resilience and personal transformations. So, I think it's better if he just comes on and talks about what he's been through and what got him to where he is and why he wrote his book, man.
Yeah. We had a pretty good conversation with him when we had met him.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to tonight too. I
definitely.
love every episode, but like I'm looking forward to tonight for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Fucking bring him out.
All right, let's bring him out,
Get him
man.
in here.
What
There he is.
up? What's going on, brother?
What's going on? Thanks so much for having me.
No
Yeah,
problem.
man.
Thanks
It's
for
a
being here.
pleasure, bro. Yeah, we appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, I'll definitely have
Definitely.
to say the halftime show is phenomenal.
You liked it?
Yeah, of course. It put Not
Oh,
Like
man.
Us, even though Drake's suing this guy,
I
he
know.
plays it anyways. Come
I
on,
know.
man.
Yeah, I
Like
don't know.
literally essentially called him a pedophile on
Yeah.
national TV. And when they said the A minor part and the whole fucking stadium, and what was it? That's twice in a week that he's done that because he did it at the Grammys too, while Drake was at the
Ooh.
Grammys. Yeah.
Like
Ooh.
that was like the biggest like diss going to a Super Bowl
Oh, yeah.
and a
I guess,
Grammy.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Drake just I don't know, be a gardener or something. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just didn't like it, man. I don't know. I'm not a Kendrick Lamar fan, really, to be honest with you. So maybe that's why. But I mean, last year's, man,
Last
that
year's
was the
was good.
shit. You know,
Last year's was
by
really good.
far, I think that's one of the best. Besides, what was her name that propped her tit out? Was it
Oh, it's something Jackson.
Jackson? Yeah, Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson, that's
yeah,
it.
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
think
was
with Kendrick, you have to pay attention because he has like so many messages.
Oh,
Like
dude.
they're
Yeah.
studying in Harvard now still, like his messages of his songs. So like there's so many
Really?
messages in the Super Bowl. The
Oh,
way
yeah.
the thing,
Oh,
the
yeah.
colors, the designs, like
Where
Even
they
in the
were
crowd,
standing,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where they were standing while they were doing certain songs, like on the fucking stage. Like
Yeah.
I went down a little rabbit hole on TikTok today about it. Like when he was doing this song, he was standing on the X, and like that song's not going platinum, but like let's look into it and then just get in this fucking rabbit hole of like everything and like the people laying on the ground when they're laying on the ground. Like it's
and then the
everything.
one
man.
standing up. Yeah, and then like they had like the games, like so like X, circle, triangle, and
PlayStation
square.
game,
Yeah,
yeah, controller,
PlayStation games. Yeah, so that meant something too.
yeah. So it's
Crazy.
definitely for me, it was interesting. I was waiting. I was like, is he gonna really to play? Because I just heard about the whole lawsuit that's going on. So I was like, is he gonna play it? And then they're like teasing it. I'm like,
The way they brought it out was sick.
I was like, maybe. And then he played it. I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah.
I walked away from it like halfway through. I never, because like I said, I was moving into my new place. So, I mean, as a Chiefs fan, man, I wanted to watch it. Doesn't matter win or lose. You know, I give lots of props to Philly, definitely, right? But at the end of the day, the Chiefs didn't show up, right? They didn't show up. But you know what? The better team won, man, and congratulations to them. You know, I ain't no poor sport. You know, it's the way it is, man. There's always
Hey.
next year.
Exactly. Which honestly, because I know the big thing was with the Chiefs and the refs, right? You know, the refs are always on their side, supposedly. I think that maybe if they were, I think this Super Bowl is like to show they weren't, and then next year
Yeah.
they're going to win it. Almost
Yeah,
guarantee
you never know, man. Never know. We'll see. I mean, Philly, they got a good team now, man. You know, they got a really good team. It's young. They're all hungry. They might even be the new Chiefs. You know what I mean? And knock it all out of the park a couple of years, man. And you know what? I hope they do. At the same time, I'm a Chiefs fan, but I mean, you know, I'm down for good sports, man. So
Exactly.
well, I think it's time for you to plug some shit, brother. Like, why don't you plug a
Yeah.
little bit and explain about your book for a bit here,
Yeah,
man.
tell us what you got going on,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Yeah. So my book, for context, I wrote my book in 2 days, bottle the whiskey and crying my eyes out. That's how I wrote my book. It was in December. I was going through like a tough time, and as a guy, right, you bury everything, and I've done it for years. Just bury everything. If you don't see it, it's not there. But this time I was just going through a really tough spot. So I remember I was at my desk, at this desk working, just like looking at, I forgot what I was looking at. And I was like, I'm gonna go work out. So it was, at the time it was raining, and I have this like metal awning outside. So you have like, when rain hits that, it makes it like that tink tink noise.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working out, and just something inside of me just like go walk out in the rain. So I walked down the rain and I just fell to my knees and just screamed, like, just tell me my purpose. And at that point, I felt like just life was just kicking me on the ground. I just couldn't get a win. But the minute I fell down and I said that, I like felt a fire I've never felt before. I got up and I screamed, like, after everything I've been through, after everything I've lost, after all the women I had in my life leave, you can't beat me. And like in the distance, like way in the distance, the like lightning like struck. I could see like a little flash, but nothing crazy. And then I went inside, dried off, got that bottle of whiskey, and just wrote for 2 days, just bawling my eyes out. But it was definitely that's how my book came about. And it's basically what it is. It's just a lot of lessons I've learned the hard way and trying to inspire others to maybe not make those mistakes, but also learn. It's my perspective shifted where I saw pain as a purpose, you know, pain as a teacher. What is it teaching me? And that's basically what happened for me. And from that, my perspective on everything, good, bad, just totally changed. And I think that's important. Once you take the wins, but you're also taking the losses and seeing them as wins, you're unbeatable.
Definitely.
Good for you, man. That's awesome. We say that all the time. It's like from pain to power, right? And like there's lessons in everything, man. You just gotta look for them, right? They're there. It's just you gotta find it. And at the same time, too, man, is we go through these hard trials, right? And that's what chisels us to be stronger. It's a matter of how you handle that and put it through to the right direction to make you more powerful.
Definitely. I think with pain, when you realize that you can bury pain as much as you want, that's fine. But pain demands to be felt. It's not if it's going to be felt, it's when it's going to be felt. So burying it, you can bury as much as you want. Eventually, it's going to seep in those cracks and it's going to hit part in a life that you have no idea or it's not related because you didn't address it. You didn't face that pain. But when you face it, it no longer holds power, but it's also teaching you at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I was there, man, and I can speak right on that. Like I tried to unalive myself, man. I woke up 2 days in the hospital out of a coma, man, and it was from pain, going through things and just barrowing. I can't even speak right now. Putting it down in your stomach. There we go. The other choice of words. And it was just like it was just compacting of trauma on top of each other and on top of each other to the point that it just exploded. I just couldn't take it anymore, and I didn't deal with it. And now I'm still dealing with it, right? Like we're gonna you deal with that shit your whole entire life. There is no like, okay, it stops. Yeah, you might have maybe a day better, a week better, a month better, even a year or a couple of years better. But then something's gonna happen, and you will feel that pain. It doesn't matter. It may not be the thing that you dealt with in your past. It could be a new pain that comes. You know what I mean? But that's life, and that's about growing, and that's how you push forward and learn, man. It's all learning and how to deal with things and become stronger at the end of the day.
Exactly. I think that's an important thing is when you address that pain, it hurts. Like no one wants to address pain, it hurts. That's why, right? But the minute you do it, like doesn't mean it's like gone. It's you address it as like you're never gonna have pain. Like no, you're still gonna have it.
Yeah.
But it won't be as impactful. Now you just see it as more just like it's not as powerful as before, right?
Yeah.
And you're seeing it from a different perspective. And I think that's very important.
Definitely.
You know what, too? Like I had a conversation with a friend last night who was struggling and she's going through some stuff and we were just kind of talking and like she's got a lot on her plate and I'm like, well, like have you told anybody like close to you about what's going on? She's like, no. I'm like, so you're carrying this all by yourself? She's like, yeah. I'm like, that's got to be fucking heavy, man. Like
definitely, man.
One of the things that I've learned is like when you rat yourself out, give it away, give it to somebody else, now it's not so heavy. So in your experience, Juan, like you carried this shit by yourself for a long time, but then instead of giving it to someone else, you wrote it down and now you can give it to the world. Like you found the purpose in that pain and that's how you give it away. So now that it doesn't carry the same way that it used to, right? Because like in your head, you can only comprehend one thought at a time, right? So like you could have A, B, C, and D going on. They're all going on. But if you try to think of all those situations at once, you can't do it. You can only think of certain scenarios out of each situation at once. So one thing that I always say is like writing stuff down is like a good way, even if it's a fucking disaster when you write it down. Write it down however it comes out of your head, but just get it on paper so that you can fucking look at it and see what you're dealing with. Stick it up on the wall, throw a fucking dart at it and start there. Start working on that right there. Take the power away from the thing that's controlling you by giving it away, by ratting yourself out, make it public. And when I say that, there's a lot of stuff that you should probably talk to a professional about. But, you know, like if I'm struggling with something, I come on here and I talk about it because now it's not mine to carry. I can't carry it alone because now Eric knows. Anybody who listens to the podcast knows. You know, so it's not a fucking secret anymore. Secrets are the heaviest weight that you fucking carry. So when you get rid of the secrets, it's not that much weight anymore.
I totally agree. I recommend the same thing. It's just write it down. A lot of people are like, should I share it? Like, you could burn it. Doesn't matter. But when you write it down, it doesn't hold power. But also you realize what exactly is giving you this pain, right? What exactly the problem? And then you can analyze that as itself, right? Let's say you have a issue at work, right? Someone says something, your boss or whatever, and it affected you and you felt a certain way. Write it down. Like, what did he say? What did you say? Why do you feel that way you did? Is it because what he said, or is there a deeper reasoning? When you write it down, now you're realizing what the problem is.
Oh, you can fucking look at it. You can literally look at it and analyze it.
Definitely.
Sure.
I just want to say though, tell them your book, tell them your socials.
Totally get it all out there.
Yeah, get it all out, brother.
Yeah, so my book is Unbroken, Turning Pain to Purpose, My Story. My social is just my website. It's juanespinoza.me. So I put all my podcasts on there. My Facebook link is on there. Also, like my business number as well as like my email address is all on there. That's where everybody just go to the website. Boom, it's there. There's a contact information on there too. So if you want to, contact or you want to talk, just shoot me an email. It literally comes directly to me and I see it and I'll contact you back. We'll schedule a time to talk and just let's talk it out.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful.
And for everybody that's listening, they'll be in the description below. So check that out. Yeah, man. And show some support. Hit one up and pick up the book, man. It's a gooder, man. So pick up the book and show some support.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's more, a lot of people will say, I'm military, right? So I'm a military male. So you're like, okay, well, his audience is male. Like, no, I've been on female podcasts. I've talked with females. I've talked with, kids. I've talked to older, generations. Everybody deals with pain. It's just having someone to talk to and just listen to you without judging you, right? And maybe asking those hard questions like, okay, what's going on? I'll give you an example. When my aunt was over probably about a month ago, a little over a month ago now. And, I'm Hispanic, so we don't talk about feelings. We don't cry. So I told her how I wrote my book and I looked at her and I was like, what's your pain? And her eyes started just swelling up and she basically started crying and told me her pain. And after that, we laughed, and after talking, we laughed and she felt like weight was lifted. I think it's important that, we're all in this world and we're going to feel some type of pain, but if you're able to navigate that pain and just see it as a teacher, like you can change your life dramatically.
100%.
I agree, brother. So why don't you tell us a little bit of your story there, man, just to give our audience an idea of like where you came from.
So, I grew up with a decent childhood. It wasn't awful. We weren't rich, but we're not poor. More like middle class poor, I guess you would say. So I enlisted when I was 18. I didn't, I was, a little dumbass kid and I didn't really pay attention to grades. My family could afford us to send me to college. So 9 to 5 or the military. I was like, well, 9 to 5 sound like it sucks. So I'm just going to go to the military. So I enlisted when I was enlisted when I was 18. I went to basic training about 3 months after. And then around December, did a little Christmas break, like 2 weeks or so. Got to my unit and I deployed to Afghanistan 4 months after that. So this was back in 2010. So it was a height of the war, it was popping off. I experienced a lot of loss and trauma, losing friends. I've experienced a lot of just violence, mainly just like you see what the world, the worst human beings have to offer and what they can do. And then shortly before I was supposed to return home with my unit, probably about a couple weeks prior, my mom died. So I had to come home early, bury my mom. And then that's where I went back to my unit after that, shortly after that. And what typical people do when they have trauma, what they have an
Mm-hmm.
addiction, or they do something to numb it. And,
Mm-hmm.
for us, it was, we drink all the time. We did a lot of drinking and barbecue. We had a good old time, but we're just numbing that pain. Cause
Mm-hmm.
as an 18, 19-year-old, like, how do you comprehend like what just happened? So I got
Well, I
married.
feel like what you're experiencing over there isn't a vacation by any means. Like, we won't get into detail about the things that you saw and that happened over there, but I'm sure, like, you dealing with the loss of your mom was heavy enough
Yeah.
on top of the stuff that you were experiencing while you were fucking gone too.
Definitely.
And I just want to give you my condolences too, man.
Yeah, man.
Of course, thank you. I definitely appreciate that. Like for me, like in my book, I throw some, situations in there where like I was blown up a couple times, shot at a lot of basically every day. It was just like literally firefights every single day. You get used to it. You're just like, okay, the silence, that's what worried us.
Mm.
And transitioning from that to coming back home, you would think it's like, yeah, it's okay. But the silence, right? That was the get your mind racing, because usually silence is never good.
Yeah.
Now to think about it, it's not. Sometimes
Well,
it's not.
I can imagine that because like you're so used to, like all these things happening around you, bullets flying, explosions, all this. And then all of a sudden it's silence. Now you're like, okay, what's going to happen? Like, and it's like a waiting game, And if
Exactly.
anything, you're now stuck in your head and you're fighting the thoughts in your head, which I can't imagine, man.
Yeah, exactly. I think that toll is very heavy. You don't want to say too much about what you went through with family because you don't want to worry them. Like, oh, like, well, this
Yeah.
guy's fucked up. Like, and then you talk to like a counselor, they're like, think you're crazy. Here's some meds. So you're just trying to like navigate that alone. And on top of that, like passing up your mother, you're just like, I was lost in the sauce, definitely.
So
Yeah.
can I just ask you a quick question? Well, like in terms of therapy, like what kind of resources did you have being in active duty like that? Did you have like counselors and therapists over there with you?
No, we
No?
had a chaplain that would come by every once in a blue moon, but that was just more like, hey, how you guys doing? Stop in, and then he'll dip out. Besides that, we didn't have like counselors. You have your friends to lean on and you talk with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, you develop that bond where you went through some shit. I'm here for you. And I'm there. You're there for me as well. So we had that. So we would talk about it with each other, but at the same time, you can't talk too much because you have a mission to do and you got to,
You
put
don't
all
want to
that-
worry anybody else around you.
Yeah, you got to
Fuck, man.
put that on the back burner and focus on your mission, because those thoughts can, get yourself killed or also get somebody else killed because your reaction time's a little slower.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking, I don't want to go here because I want to die. But guess what? That little subtle step, either you got you killed or got your teammates killed. And that was a big part of just burying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I commend you for doing that.
Definitely,
Anybody
man.
in the military. And please do us a favor, Juan. Don't invade us and make us the 51st state. Like, we're just chilling over here. I had to bring it up sooner or later, man. Fuck.
So how old were you when you deployed?
18.
18.
Just a kid, man.
So I was the first generation in my family that actually went in the military. My cousins were like, hey, we're going to go. And then uncles, they're going to go and because they want to buy a truck or something like that. And uncles buy a truck so they don't have to go. So I was the only one that went. So that's just like, I didn't know. I didn't have anybody to talk to be like, what is, I guess, experience like? You don't. So I just like figuring it out as I go.
Was it scary, like right off the bat? Were you like shitting bricks when like things happened?
It was intense. Like we landed, like in my book I mentioned, we landed at pitch black and it's just like run to the wall and run till you hit a wall. I'm like, what? Okay, that's weird. And then the next morning, boom, shots are ringing. You're like, what is that? And then you get used to it. Okay, this is what's happening.
Well, how much training did you have before you like were active?
So before we went overseas, correct?
Yeah.
So I was there for about 4 months. We did some training.
Yeah.
Some training missions, stuff like that. But in that time period, it was more just like spending time with family. So I got there, basically, they did a majority of the training before I even got there. So when I get there, everybody's just like trying to spend as much time with the family. So a lot of the stuff I learned was overseas in the moment, like
In
figuring
the
it out,
moment, yeah.
you know? So
That must have been like a mind fuck, definitely, man. You know, just all of a sudden, here we go. Like, no, just give her.
Nowhere
Fuck,
to
man.
run.
Talk
ex-
about like mental health, right, at its finest, right there, man. Like the thoughts. You know, you're a kid, man. 18. Let's face it. You're 18. You're still a kid, man. And then having all that mental, like all that mental weight on top of like all this. Fuck, man. I commend you, man. Thank you for your service, brother.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate you, bro.
of
Thank
course,
you,
you know,
man.
I think I always describe it as the best, worst year of my life. But
Hmm.
if I could go back, I would not, I'll do the exact same thing
Yeah.
easily. It developed a lot of in myself that it pushed limits that I didn't know I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, because you had no other
Definitely.
choice. But
So after that, after going through that and the loss of your mom, how did that pay a toll on you?
Well, I buried a lot.
Yeah.
I definitely buried a lot, and I didn't, you know, at the time I was just like, well, if I don't think about it, like it'll eventually go away and it doesn't exist, right?
Hmm.
That's where I also played a role in my marriage, and then also my other last relationship. It was I just tried to be normal. So
Hmm.
when I got back, probably maybe a couple years later, I got married. To me, that felt like normal. It's a normalcy,
Hmm.
right? You get married, you have kids, get a
Yeah.
house. If I go that mold, then eventually, like, I guess I'll be normal again in my mind.
Hmm. Were you
Um,
hoping it would just like disappear? Everything would just disappear pretty much?
Basically, yeah, I was just like,
Yeah.
well, if I don't think about it, it's never going to be there. So
Yeah.
that was what I had in mind. But to find out the hard truth, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. Crazy, man. I just, you know, I keep on replaying in my head, man, just like as a kid and going through all that, man. I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of you for just, you know, where you came from and where you are today, you know, and expressing your feelings, writing this book and helping others out there, man. That's amazing, man. So I just want to say thank you for everything, man. I appreciate that.
I think for me, it's just trying to help people. It's
Yeah.
just more of just my nature. But I've noticed a lot of my friends and people I've known that I serve with, like, you know, kill themselves because they don't know how to,
Mhm.
you know, handle this trauma.
I was
Yeah.
For
gonna
me,
say thank you for not being a statistic, because
Yeah, man.
that's what it is. Like, it's a
exactly. I think
fucking
anybody that
statistic.
goes through like an intense trauma, just not just war, just in general, right? How do you
Yeah.
handle that? Eventually, you bury. It
Yeah.
gets too much, and then you kill yourself.
Mhm.
How do you? To me, it's like, how can I bridge that gap to prevent them from doing that? I was like, let's talk
Mhm.
about it. And
Yeah.
how do you talk to somebody that you don't know anything about? Because you most likely won't. Like, I went to one therapy session and I didn't like it because
Mhm.
this woman that had no idea who I was. I didn't know idea who she was, and it wasn't like I didn't feel like I was comfortable. So for me, it's like I'm
Mhm.
gonna share all my weak stuff, share yours, and that's exactly what's happening. So it's amazing.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's
And
what I always say too, man, is like when the best way to like let someone know they're safe in your presence is to get on their level,
yeah.
you know? Like share the dirty, ugly shit just so that they feel safe enough to share theirs. The difference is though, is that you've utilized it and changed it around so that it's a power now and it's a purpose, right? Whereas
Mhm.
they're still going through it. But I tell people this all the time when I deal with people in active addiction, man. Like I get down on their level. Listen, man, I used to fucking drive my truck around and do lines off my center console while my kids are in the back seat. You know, like, but I do that now so that I can make them realize that like I've done some fucked up shit, but like also I got through it. You know, like it's not good and I'm not proud of it, but I've done it, I've dealt with it, and I don't do it anymore.
Okay.
You know, so like getting
Yeah.
on someone's level is a huge thing for helping people relate so that they realize they're not alone.
And that's what we do here too on Raw
Mhm.
Minds, right? Is we hold space. That's another thing, right? You
Yeah.
hold space for people, and also like Anthony said, is to come down to people's levels and show them, you know, vulnerability, man.
Mhm.
You know, and it helps change lives, man, and save lives too at the same time.
Exactly. I think it's just realizing everybody is not perfect, but telling them like,
Mhm.
you know, addiction, trauma, whatever, it's okay. Just
Yeah.
that alone is like not making them feel like a failure. Like it's okay, like to feel
Yeah.
that way. It's okay to be
Yeah.
hurt. Like that's life. I'm here for you. Like here's my, you know, ugly stuff. And then it makes them more open to share their ugly stuff, to get it off their chest, and also to learn from it.
Definitely, man. Like we say, it's okay not to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would be more concerned if somebody experienced the things that you experienced and didn't suffer trauma from it. You know what I mean? Like if people didn't have like struggles and like they tell you certain things in their life and they're like, no, but I'm genuinely fine. That to me would be more concerning. Like I sat with a friend who was struggling last night and she's just like, yeah, I've got all this going on. And I'm like, yeah, like that's a lot of shit. Like you're allowed to feel like you're struggling right now. Like anybody going through a fraction of that would feel like they're struggling. So it's okay to feel like you're struggling.
Yeah.
Like don't feel like you're not good enough because you're fucking hurting. Like you're fucking hurting. Even something that could mean nothing to me could mean the fucking world to you. And just because to me it wouldn't be that big of a deal doesn't mean it's not a big deal to you. Because that's my perception of it. My perception doesn't mean shit in other people's lives. That's just my perception. But
easily, it's just asking for help. It's okay to ask for help. Like a lot of people see it as a weakness. Like it's okay, dude. Like people need help all the time. It's not a big deal, right? You know, if you ask for that help, like I'm struggling, here's my pain, like I need some help. That takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength. A lot of people don't realize because you're being vulnerable. No one wants to be vulnerable, which I get it. But at the same time, when you're able to be vulnerable with yourself, you're able to help others and also build that trust with yourself and the others as well.
True. Very true. So after like, you know, going through that and then your mom passed away, you had to come back. Then after, is that when you started writing your book or is it a little bit later after that?
So this was back in 2010 when I came back. I wrote my book in December, like 2 months ago. So literally, yeah, it's very, very soon. I didn't think about writing it. It literally just happened. Beginning of December. So to get to that point, I got married when I came home, and then I went to the National Guard. I deployed to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, back in 2015. Still married at the time, but at that time, my biological mom passed away on that deployment, which I didn't come home because me and her connection wasn't there. She left when I was 3, so I didn't have that connection with her. And then back in 2017, I went to Afghanistan again for 3 years as a private contractor. I came home back in February of 2020. And that's where, you know, I was still married at the time. I had my daughter. It just felt off. It was, you know, I always told my ex-wife at the time, or my wife at the time, if it's too much, just let me know. But for me, like I was always in that marriage, I was worried about bills, like typical provider does, just worry about bills. But I also lacked the emotional aspect where I didn't worry too much about that. You know, I figured, you know, you got a roof, you got food, you got clothes, like you're good. I'm doing what I'm supposed to. But that's not reality. So when I came home, my wife got pregnant, like probably within a month after, but that connection was just off. I felt off. So I was thinking maybe an adjustment period, you know, maybe I don't know, something's weird, like something's off, but maybe it's just me adjusting again. And probably months down the road, you know, she starts going out for, you know, nights on end. Okay, this is weird. And she's trying to like, and I'm calling things out and she's like, well, trying to convince me I'm crazy. I was like, well, got the point, like maybe I'm going crazy. Like this is nuts. So around August timeframe, I was at a training exercise, probably about a couple hours south. And she told me I'm going to labor and go to the hospital. So I was like, okay. I told my chain of command, you know, this is happening. They're like, okay, go home. So I called her. I was like, hey, I'm going home. And she was like, no, you don't have to, I was like, that's crazy. Like, yeah, like I went to like the baby showers, you know, the gender reveal and all that good stuff. So I was like, that's crazy. That's my kid. Like, why wouldn't I go? That's retarded. So after that, that's when it just like really went downhill after the birth, because I found a document basically just with my sister's help. We basically pieced it out that she was pregnant probably about a month or so before I even got home. So it wasn't mine. So, so she had an affair. That's where I filed for divorce, and that happened from that. But that definitely like threw me off a lot, actually. just to be in that position where you think you're falling for this kid that you think is yours, but in reality, it's not. But probably like before the paternity test results itself, I was detaching myself because I was like, I know, like, it's not mine. So when the results came in, I already knew.
Yeah.
So that's basically what happened. So overall, I've been close to like 5 years overseas.
Well, that it's almost like she was gaslighting you, right? Like she,
100%.
like you were
That's
saying,
what I was
definitely,
thinking.
right?
Yeah, I think now I look at it now, I'm like, yeah, I was getting played, but I think it's just me being naive.
Yeah.
I think that's where forgiveness came in. That's why I'm reflecting now when I wrote my book, and that's where forgiveness comes in. Because I always thought, like, if you forgive somebody, like, you're letting them off the hook. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I was a good person. Like, I didn't hurt anybody. Like, why should I forgive them? Why should I let them off the hook? Then I realized forgiveness is not for them; it's for you. You know, I forgave myself for maybe not knowing any better, be naive, but that's a big part of where I actually learned forgiveness was through that situation.
How did you feel after you forgave her? Did you feel like a weight off your shoulders?
Easily.
Definitely. Okay,
You know, like I said, it was because then you go to like the co-parenting now, and like she's still, the person that she had this affair with is actually, in my daughter's life still. They're married now, and to realize like he wasn't a bad guy. He's not a bad guy at all. Like I've talked with him, but at first, like any type of situation that goes from that to automatic co-parenting, there's gonna be, anger, it's anger, resentment, hurt feelings. But when you get past that, you realize, okay, well, that's her choice. Like, I don't know why she did it, but that's not me,
So you have a child with this woman.
Yes.
And then the second one wasn't yours?
That is correct.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So we still have, co-parenting. We have a good relationship. It's very, if she needs anything, I'm there. And anything, she's there. Anything to do with my daughter, like, we're there. That's an important thing for just any child. But what I didn't like is just my daughter basically witnessed some of the stuff when I was gone, and this one's lines come into factor, and that's where in my book I mentioned I picked her up from her mom's, and I was driving home, and I could just see in her eyes like the pain. And I remember I looked in the review mirror. This one I already knew already. And I looked at it and I was like, Mama's, like, it's okay. I know what your mom was doing. And it killed me, honestly. It's because she starts crying and says, I'm sorry, Dad. And then just like she spilled the beans, and I was like, so I pulled over and told him, like, it's okay. Like, you're a child, that's not your fault. Having a kid feel like it's their fault. That's being a dad, like, you want to protect kids, and like I still carry that guilt now. I probably will, because I didn't prevent that. But at the same time, I didn't know at the time, like I didn't know any better. I was just trying to make sure she was taken care of, the family. So that's definitely a learning experience by far. But mine and my daughter's bond strengthened a lot because of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not good, but I mean, it's good if you know what I mean, right? Like, you always go. And I just want to rewind a little bit. Sorry, Anthony, 1 second.
No,
just
go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to rewind a little bit. So talk about a fucking high and then a low, you know what I mean? Where, you're excited, you're going to have a baby, and then you just on this like cloud 9, and then all of a sudden you find out, like, well, over time you had instincts that it may not be yours. And then you just go from here and then you just drop, and that all alone is just a fucking crazy mental fuck, man. Man, I'm sorry that you went through that, dude. Like, that's
It's definitely, like, think about it, like, you just got like your just floor just got took off from beneath you. You're just like, boom, because you think, like, as anybody would be, right? You want to have a family, you have kids, a loving family, and then that's that reality that you had in your head, or that maybe delusion at the time. It's not a reality. So now you're questioning everything. Questioning yourself, like, maybe it wasn't me, was I not worthy, stuff like that. So that definitely just threw me off a lot. I think now, like, any hard time I've been through, I would never take any of it back, especially with with my daughter's mom, because end of the day, like, my daughter came from this relationship, so, like, of course, like, I'll take all the hits all day, but
Yeah.
I see it as a blessing to see how far I can like push myself and the limit I can go. To me, it's just surprising. Just the more you learn, your limits increase before you never thought was possible.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Sorry, go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, so two things. I can relate to the affair thing because I got sober in 2021. 9 months into my recovery, I found out that my kid's mom, who I was with for 13 years, was having an affair. That's not new information. It was shared before. I leave out certain details out of respect for her. But I can relate to how hard that co-parenting thing is at the very beginning, because I had such a resentment towards her for what she had done, to the point where it was almost difficult to set it aside to be there for the kids, but I also looked at the other side of it too, of like, now I wasn't providing for my family. I was in active addiction. I was a raging cokehead. All my money was spent on coke. I had just got sober. I had lied to this woman for years, told her that I wasn't doing drugs, and I was. So I had to look at my part in that. And like what I had realized throughout the journey that I went on with all of it was that like I was never a very present person emotionally, physically, like at all. But the co-parenting aspect, when you can remove the personal bullshit out of the equation and just understand that you are there for the children and the children only, that is like wiping away the past and rebuilding from the fucking ground up a totally different type of relationship. And I'm the same way, man. My daughter, I'll give you a little story. So my daughter she has to do speeches for school. They have to be between 3 and 5 minutes. They can pick what they do their speech on. So my daughter did her speech on why you shouldn't smoke. I smoke. So she's in her room one night and I'm getting her to tell me her speech before she goes to school. It's like 4 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm like, boom, you're bang on for time. Like you're good to go. She's telling me, she's like, yeah, like if you sign up, you can go to the gym. And then if you do good at the gym, you go to the Legion and then you can win $300. I'm like, are you fucking doing it? Like she's 10 years old. I'm like, are you doing it? She's like, no, I don't want to say it in the gym. I was like, I'll tell you what, if you fucking sign up for the gym when you go to school tomorrow, before you do your speech, you make it to the gym, I will quit smoking. What's this fucking kid do? She goes to school, signs up for the gym, gets the best mark in the class, first one picked to go to the gym. So the point of the story is, before we started and I like jumped on here and I was on the phone with my kid's mom. She's like, are you going to the gym tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going. She's like, well, I'll go if you go. The stuff that we do together with our kids, and she's in a relationship. She lives with him. He's a great dude. He literally helped me build my fucking computer. Great dude. She's happy. My kids are happy there. My kids are happy here. That's all that fucking matters. But that woman is like my best friend when it comes to my kids, because nobody else on the face of this planet is going to love those kids as much as I do, except for her. I might find someone who loves them in their own way eventually, but for right now, that woman loves my kids just as much as I do, if not more, So the question, that was just my little story, but the question I wanted to ask you, Juan, was like, after that situation, how did that situation affect your relationships afterwards? Did you have a really difficult time trusting women after that?
No, not really, because I realized that one person's mistake is not, everybody's different. Just because, my ex made a mistake doesn't mean the next person is going to make a mistake. And I think that's a big flaw a lot of people have. I've been stabbed in the heart, so I'm not trusting any, woman after me. Or if you're a woman, I'm not trusting any males after me because I got my heart broken one time. To me, that's a disservice because you're putting this pressure on someone that has nothing to do with the situation. You know what I mean? I think that's, my relationship after that, I flipped it where, okay, I'm be there emotionally, but, some of the bills, we lived at different cities. So some of the bills, I was like, okay, well, you said you wanted to handle your business, so handle your business. That's the flaw where I messed up on that aspect. I went too emotional instead of both. But I think the fact that for me, it's just, you have to take a risk and trust the person you're with. At the end of the day, if they're going to leave, they're going to leave. They're not. But at least you're trying, and you can't say, well, I didn't try, because you did.
Definitely. You find that I just lost my train of thought now, man. Damn.
Well, I
yeah.
will say I would just disagree with the fact that it's a flaw, and I don't take any offense to it at all. I do agree with the fact that it is a disservice to the other person. For me, I feel like it's just a trauma response so that I can protect myself emotionally.
It's a survival instinct.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
I should have used that word instead of flaw because I don't want to sound like negative, but it's more
No,
it's a
no.
survival instinct,
Yeah.
trauma response, and I definitely agree with you because we try to protect ourselves. Like we don't want to go get our heart broken again. Like that sucks.
Yeah. Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
You know, like,
fucking right.
but you know, I think it's learning the fact that you got to build that trust, and it's a balance, and that's where you know you can't say like you're all in, but your heart's not all in,
Mhm.
and eventually, but you have to
That's it.
build towards that. You can't
Yeah.
just like 100% like boom, you got my heart. Like if you have your
That's
heart
what I
broken,
did. That's
Yeah.
what I did the second the relationship after the one with my kid's mom, and it was not good.
yeah. So that's
Yeah.
exactly what I did. You know, the next one after that, I was like, boom, my heart's all in.
Yeah.
And you know, heartbroken again. But now I've learned to balance that where it's okay. Well, it's you have to build towards that. You don't just give it away day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Build towards that.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. I was like, how long did it take you to get that balance back? And that's what I was gonna.
So for me now, actually, after my last relationship, you know, she's Lola, my shooting star in my book. That was like the one that like, she was like the one for me because my heart was like 100% in it. After that, and the self reflection when I'm actually writing my book, that's where I realized, okay, like I gotta balance. I can't just go one way or the other. It's a balancing act,
Yeah.
and I think a big part of self reflection I learned from my marriages or my marriage to my relationships. It's learning that you know you did good. You know what's the good you did, what's the bad you did, but
Mhm.
also what didn't you do? That's the part people leave out. Like I did this
Yeah.
good and I did this bad, but there's a part that you didn't do.
Mhm.
Why?
Yeah, and it's a matter of going deep down into your soul, your heart, whatever, and really thinking about that and picking that out, right? And then finding what you didn't do and then correcting it.
Exactly. That's where
Yeah.
I basically I learned the hard way. Where you know I did great things, I did some bad things, but also there was a lot I didn't do,
Mhm.
and that which basically like led to the you know obviously it takes two to tango, right, in a relationship, but there's also a part where I'll accept my responsibility. Yeah, I didn't do that. You know, I didn't
Mhm.
do a lot of that stuff, but just that deep reflection of like genuinely looking in the mirror and realizing that I definitely changed my perspective on everything.
And taking accountability, right? That's
That's
huge,
huge.
right?
Mhm.
That's huge.
Taking accountability is a lot of things that a lot of people don't do. You know, they divert from it and then it just gets worse or things don't get changed or fixed. That's when you start rolling into the same thing over and over again. And that's like with relationships. You know, a lot of people will keep on doing the same thing in a relationship, expect something to be different, right? When that's true insanity. You do things over and over and expect something to be different.
Well, I think it's easy. It's easy to blame, you know, everybody else
Yeah.
for what happened, right? That's like you know, it's easy. You know, but accountability is actually realizing, you know, like to look in the mirror and know, like, okay, well, you're not perfect either. You had a
Yeah.
role in this,
Yeah.
and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
that's why people don't take accountability, because if they can blame it all on the other person, then they're not at fault. And
Yeah.
they'll go for it as long as they can. Maybe they'll find someone. Is it going to be healthy? Probably not. But like if you can take like accountability is fucking huge, man, and I commend you for that.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
this may be a little personal. How's your relationship life today? Are you just focusing on yourself? Are you in a relationship?
I'm just focused on myself right now. And just more just looking out to realize that, okay, well, you know, for me, it's the next relationship I go to, it's basically, it's going to be not 50-50, it's be a balance. As in like,
Mhm.
you know, in a relationship, it's not always 50-50.
Yeah, I don't
People,
agree with that.
people think that it's always gonna be 50-50 every day. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
Some days
Yeah.
they're going 20, you're going 80. You're going
100%.
80, you know, just learning that they got your back. And
Mhm.
so in the future, it's realizing that like, okay, well, I'll put my effort, but you also got to do the same. If you don't, then I'm not worried about it. You know, I'm not
Yeah,
going to
you
Yeah.
go
know your worth.
exactly.
Yeah.
Learning
Yeah.
that the hard way. So in my book, I basically reflected on that just when I'm writing it. And I think probably why I was just bawling my eyes out writing this book, because it felt like 100 therapy sessions in 2 days.
That's amazing,
It
man.
was tough, but after that, it was
Yeah.
life changing. Honestly,
Did you find that like you just pouring it all out there like after you were done, or is it just like a big sigh of like
all was great.
yeah.
So much weight lifted. I felt like I could float. I
Yeah.
was like, I could fly right now.
It's like an amazing orgasm.
Exactly. I was like, this is amazing. And it sucks I only had to do it once, but
Yeah.
but I think the fact that also sharing it with the world and getting these people's
Yeah.
perspective where they're asking me advice or they want to talk, to me, that's inspiring. And I think
Yeah.
that's why I continue to do what I do, is just to help as many people, in their life as possible, to address the hard stuff that they bury,
Yeah.
get them talking about it. And the minute they do that, they feel like that weight's lifted as well.
Hell yeah, man. And
This
then you
is
get to
why
meet
we love doing
yeah,
this,
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get to meet awesome people like me and Anthony. Just
Yeah.
toting our name. No, and you're fucking awesome. And that, like Anthony said, this is why we do this. We get to meet amazing people from all walks of life, hear their stories, get to share their stories with other people out there, to show that, you're not alone, and that's how this podcast was built. I felt alone and I don't want other people to feel alone. I knew that I wasn't alone, but you feel that, right? Like we say all the time, everybody has a story. Everybody's going through something. There's not one person that is just perfect. Like it could be a small thing or a big thing. You're still going through something, and everybody has a story.
Exactly.
And that's what we're here for, man.
I think,
to share that.
So like how I wrote my book, typically like with memoirs, right? It's just like your life story. But the way I wrote my book, it's every couple pages or sections of the book, I ask questions because I want the reader to reflect not on my story, but on their story. Get you thinking. And just throughout the entire, like my journey and just lessons I've learned, I'm asking the reader to basically think about that and, write it down. That's a big part you mentioned earlier, Anthony, is just writing things down. And when I ask these questions to now the reader's reflecting on their life, so that's where I think the help comes in. It's like, okay, well, memoir / self-help, because I can tell my story, but I want the readers to reflect on their own story, because we all have a story to tell.
I love that, man.
Yeah,
a big thing too is journaling. A huge thing is journaling, and like journal for a year. For anybody that's listening, is a great thing. Is journal for a year, go through, and it doesn't have to be like a paragraph, all that. You can put notes, draw pictures if it takes. And then at the end of the year, take a look back, and see, because we do go through hard times. And sometimes like, oh, how am I going to get through this? Like, this is horrible. Like, but then a month later or 2 months later, you've gone through that, or maybe longer, depending on the situation or how you heal. But then you can look back and be like, what, that actually wasn't so bad. Yeah, it felt bad in the moment, but now look, I'm still standing. I'm still going through these things, but I'm a lot better, and I'm okay, and it's okay to be not okay at times in their life. But now look at you.
I guarantee you everybody has a situation where when they were in it, they were like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to get out of this. And I guarantee you haven't thought of it until this fucking moment that I brought it up. You know what I mean? Like I have tons of them, man. I was so consumed with a situation or something that happened for so long. And then the next time I thought about it, it was just like, fuck, I haven't thought about that in a long time.
It's when we met you, when you came on the podcast, man. You're going through a hard time.
Oh, with my ex, yeah. Well, that wasn't when we met. That was after. That was like the second.
Or after the second time. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, I still, bro. I'll be completely fucking honest, man. I still go through that. Like that's
100%.
still something that continually crosses my mind that I have to work through.
Definitely, man. And that's what we're all about, man. We're raw minds. We're not gonna sugarcoat shit, buddy. I'm dealing with shit every day, man. You know what I mean?
Are.
Yeah, man. You know that, definitely.
Yeah.
But like, I gotta wake up and look at this mug in the mirror, man. That's fucking, But no, at the end of the day, man, we're normal people. We just because we got a podcast doesn't mean we got everything figured out. Fuck no, man. This is why we got the podcast, so we can try to figure some shit out, right? And show everybody that we're just fucking humans, man. At the end of the day, we're humans.
Yeah,
I think that's important, especially for you, Anthony. Is you go through that part in your life where you're like, I don't think I'm ever gonna, how do I get out of this? And then
Mhm.
you face it, you get out of it. Now you reflect back, it doesn't feel that pain anymore. Man, I'm gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Sure, it definitely
Yeah.
hurt, but it's not that much. That's not impactful or that powerful as it was at that time, right?
Yeah.
You want to know?
Yeah.
Actually, I'll give you a perfect fucking example. The relationship with my kid's mom. That thing consumed me for over a fucking year after her and I split up. I was with that woman for 13 years. I proposed to her on top of a mountain in Alberta. Like, I had 2 kids with her. So, like, I'm sure you can relate, Juan. And I remember, so, like, I have a sponsor. I remember calling this guy every day and I'm like, man, I just wanted to fucking stop, And, like, to think back on it now, like, I'm ride or die for this chick. You know what I mean? She's happy with her boyfriend. If she's happy with him, I got his fucking back too.
Mhm.
Like, that's a perfect situation. Like, that shit consumed me. I'd call my sponsor one day and be like, man, I'm still in love with her. I want to get back with her. The next day, I can't fucking stand this chick. I fucking hate her. And like back and forth for months, almost a year. And then it's just like, it just stopped and I didn't even realize it stopped. And then we just started building up this co-parenting relationship. And now I'll fucking punch anybody out who says anything bad about her. That's the mother of
Mhm.
my children. I fucking love that woman as the mother of my children. She
Yeah.
drives me fucking nuts. She always will. She has that power more than anybody else. We were together since we were kids. She has that power. She knows it. And I have it just to do it to her the same. But yeah, like that's a prime example of a situation where I thought I was never going to get out of that fucking pain and suffering and coming home from work and like leaving work early because I could just feel it in my throat that I was going to fucking cry. Leaving work early, coming and locking my bedroom door and just crying in my room.
So my question for you
Mhm.
of that situation, how did it impact you having someone to talk to, like your sponsor, while you're going through this?
Oh, dude, like I wouldn't have been able to do it. So there's a lot of like before stuff, like 12-step recovery stuff and like connecting to a power greater than yourself, higher power, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I just call it God because it's easy. But like having my sponsor, like the thing with my sponsor was my sponsor lives like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from me. So when I got sober, I don't even think I met him when this happened. Like I hadn't even met him in person yet. I was doing everything over Zoom and video calls because it was the height of COVID. So this man was the most biased fucking person or non-biased, sorry. That right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. No
he
bias.
he didn't know fucking shit about me other than what I told him. And I told him a lot of intimate stuff. So he knew me, but he didn't give a shit about how I felt. Like it wasn't like he's the type of guy, and I say this with the guys that I sponsor, like, I'm not here to fucking tell you it's gonna be okay. I'm here to tell you what's actually going on.
Mhm.
Like if you want something sugar coated, eat a fucking donut. Because I'm not here to
Mhm.
sugarcoat you. I'm not gonna rub your back, tell you it's gonna be okay. This is what happened. This is what's going on. This is where you are. This is how we're gonna get out of it. Are you gonna fucking do it or are you not gonna do it? And I did it. And there were times I didn't listen to him because he's like, listen, man, I'll give you suggestions. That's all. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. If I tell you how to live your life, you're probably going to fucking die. If you try to live it like I lived mine, you're going to die. So what I'll do is I'll give you suggestions and it's up to you to take them. And if you don't want to take them, it's no fucking sweat off my back. So I have this funny saying that my sponsor always gives me suggestions and I never take them first because I want to do it my way one more time just to make sure that my way is not going to fucking work. And then I call him within 3 days and I'm like, I should have fucking listened the first time. Having that person was a huge, huge part of just having someone there.
I think
Yeah.
that's important because I had a old coworker reach out, basically saying like, she's, going through a lot. So I was like, okay, well, do you drink? She's like, yeah. I was okay, let's go get a drink. And so I told her, let's go get a drink because you're gonna need it. So that's where I asked the heart stuff. Okay, what's really
Mhm.
going on? Like, yeah, it could be
Right.
like life's great, life's phenomenal, like happy, sunshine and rainbows. But no, like I want to know, like you said, like your sponsor, like I want to know the
Mhm.
deep stuff, the
The
stuff that actually,
underlying. Yeah.
the thing that's actually is going on, the pain. And when she released that, she felt so much better. And like the weight was lifted because you're not carrying that no more. Like you said, you talk about, splitting up the weight and asking for help and sharing your story is exactly, what people need is just somebody that'll listen to them and actually give them the honest truth, the hard truth that they need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Yeah, that's what drives me crazy is like, people just, oh, you'll be okay, this, that, this. People don't like, my friends don't like that I'll say the truth. Yeah, you're a fucking idiot. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? At the same, I love you, but I'm gonna tell you the truth, And it's just, it blows my mind because more often that shit gets you more in trouble than telling the truth, because you're giving false hope to people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's false hope. Okay, yeah, Eric said I'll be okay. But then fucking 2 days later, whatever the situation is, you're hurt and he's like, this motherfucker said I was gonna be okay. I'm not okay. Tell the truth. What was that saying, Anthony? Is like the truth. Fuck, I forget. It was a couple episodes I think ago where someone said the truth. It's better to say the truth than the hurt, or I forget it. I'm not too sure, but
it's like better to tell the truth than tell a beautiful lie or something like that.
Something along the lines like that. Yeah, but it's
so the way I think we're talking about the same thing. The way I word it is just in in regards to like the addiction stuff that I deal with people is like I would rather tell you the unfiltered fucking truth and hope that you don't die. In the case that you do die, I don't have to attend your funeral saying, fuck, I should have said this instead. I will go to bed with peace of mind, knowing that I told you exactly what I feel you needed to hear. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about what I've told you.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like people need that hard truth. Like doesn't mean you gotta be an asshole about it, right? Some people
That's
like,
right.
well, like I'm just gonna chew them out. Like that doesn't work. Just tell them like the legit what's going on. A lot of what I learned is you hear these like these motivational speakers and these health gurus and just like or mental health gurus just like tell yourself it's gonna be okay and like the world's gonna be fine and you have a happy life, but you say that a few times and you try to believe that, then you realize like, why am I still hurting? I'm the opposite. Where let's talk about the pain, because I think the pain is a powerful motivator. And when you address that, everything else changes.
It's just a matter of where you got to find where it came from. And let's face it, a lot of times, I would say probably 98% of the time, it's from childhood. And it's gonna take a hard time to get down there, and it's gonna suck. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna suck. You know what I mean? But to heal, you need to feel, and that's what it is. I mean, like you need to feel those shitty emotions. You need to feel that pain. You need to go through that. You gotta almost relive it in a sense as like an adult, and relive those childhood traumas if that's what it was. To go through that, to heal yourself.
Exactly. I think that's like for me, like my biological mom left when I was 3. So I grew up just thinking like maybe back in my mind, it's just like, was I not good enough? Like, was I not a good son? Like, and I grew up with that. And that's when I realized it wasn't me. It was her, like her decision. Right. And I think that's an important thing that people have to realize, that there's some things that are out of your control, but it has nothing to do with you. So don't beat yourself up about it. Right. And also people don't want to cry. Like, okay, let's say you're a male, you don't want to cry. Okay. In front of people. Then no, go to the bathroom, turn the shower on, cry in the shower. Right. You can't tell the difference, but you can feel it. You need to feel that. Because once you feel it and you realize like what it's teaching you, then that's when change happens.
Definitely, man. What does Joey say all the time, man? He reminded me. Whoa, you're all distorted there.
I'm back.
Fuck, what did he say? It just popped in my head. Like I'm having like brain fog today, man. This is like the 3rd time that something's popped in my head and it just all of a sudden went right out again.
I think you're probably not like us.
Yeah. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar.
What I will say, one thing I learned, like when it comes to avoiding those feelings, the negative ones, a lot of people try to numb out. And like you said, when you were over in Afghanistan, it was drinking and just like carrying on with your buddies. one thing I learned in therapy before I actually got sober, like my therapist at the time, he used to say to me all the time, like, man, like, you're trying to numb out the bad stuff, but the problem is when you numb out the bad, you numb out the good. You don't get to pick and choose what you numb out. And to kind of touch on what you were saying about the telling yourself that it's going to be okay. Like, yeah, sometimes I could tell myself that 1,000 times in a day, and I don't fucking believe it once because I don't feel like I'm going to be okay. Like, have you ever had a fucking panic attack? Have you guys ever experienced one?
Yeah, buddy. You like couldn't
Holy
breathe. Like my
fuck,
chest
dude.
is fucking tight, and
I
it's
drove to the
fucking
hospital
shitty,
at
man.
5 in the morning. I was at the gym and I took pre-workout and I didn't eat. That's why I had one. And I went to the hospital and I was like, felt like I was fucking dying. She's like, have you ever had a panic attack before? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, well, that's what happened. I was like, so what the fuck do I do then? And she's like, well, you have to tell yourself that you're going to be okay. And I'm like, I don't feel okay. That's why I'm fucking here. I genuinely feel like I'm having a heart attack and I'm going to die. And she's like, well, just breathe and tell yourself it's going to be fine. I'm like, it's not fine. I'm at the fucking hospital at 5:30 in the morning, feeling like I'm going to fucking die. I've already called my boss and told him I'm not coming in today. Like,
Yeah.
like,
That's what it was like for me, man. Like your chest is caving. But hey, I was at my buddy's house. I was at my buddy's house hanging out, and all of a sudden it was like my whole chest just started getting fucking tight. You know, I was like, what is this feeling? And it was like short breaths, and I just like I can't even explain like it's not even a pain. It's like, oh God, I can't even
It's
explain
a panic. It's a panic.
yeah,
Literally
it's
a
just
panic.
and your whole body's just like goes in like a crazy shock in a sense.
Yeah.
I remember what I was gonna say now. So I was gonna say that, you know, like shit happens, right? Let's face it, shit happens to people every single day. And it's not your fault that it happens to you, but it's your problem. That's what Joe used to say, right? It's your problem. It's your problem. You need to fix it, you know? Like sexual abuse or whatever, you know, it's fucked. That shit's fucked, man. And it's not your fault that it happened, but you have to deal with it.
It's your responsibility. Yeah.
It is your responsibility to deal with it.
Definitely. A lot of what I, similar to basically what you said, is I usually say it's, you can't control what people do or what happens to you, but you can control how you react.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
So I think it's basically the same concept. And I definitely agree. It's like, okay, well, like you said, with the pain, right? Let's say you break your leg and it's like, oh, so I'm just going to tell myself it's okay. Like, no, I'm hurting.
Yeah.
Like, this is not working. And but if you find out the trigger, which is usually a trauma response for something, you might even know what it is. It just happens. But when you find that, then you can fix the problem.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it's getting to the under layer of what's the cause of it, right? Like we said earlier, man, is you got to feel to heal, right? You got to go through those things. You got to go, and the thing is, you can't run away from it. You can run away from it for a while, but eventually it's going to catch up to you. You can't go around it.
Yeah, you got to stop and take a breath sooner or later, and that's when it's going to catch up.
You can't go around it. You can't go over it. You know, you got to go through it. You got to feel that shit. And yeah, it's going to get dark. It's going to get dark. But at the end of the day, man, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And that's why you need a support group. You need someone to come into that room and turn on that light for you. You know, even if it's just someone to sit there and hold space for you, you know, whatever it may be, you need some kind of support, because you can't do it alone. You know, you can't, you know, like see a counselor, talk to someone. I mean, whatever it is that you need to do depression books or color. Like me, I love coloring. You know, coloring just takes everything away from me, man. You know, it's just you gotta find that thing that's gonna the tools that's gonna help you get over these things.
I think it's very important to have that support system, but also like a lot of people will let's say talk to somebody that they're going to get judged, or, you know, maybe they don't like their feedback. You know, I'm going to tell you like my story, and then you're going to be like, it's okay. Like, well, or some response, like you can just call somebody, you know, a good friend that you can trust, like, hey, I want to spill out my guts to you, but, you know, maybe please don't say anything. Just listen. People just need someone to listen to them.
Yeah,
right?
man.
They want to feel heard.
Yeah. Well, like that's what I said, and I'll say it again. Anthony's probably like, "Fuck," he said this like almost every episode is. But when my fiance died, all I needed was someone to just sit there with me, and that's what Joey did. He would come over every day after work, and he would sit there, and he wouldn't say a word. And I just needed someone to hold space, just to sit there and just be there, and we wouldn't talk, man. And then an hour would go by, I'm like, I'm gonna go inside, man. He's like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And he would just go in his car and drive away. And that's all I needed. I didn't need someone to tell me how to feel or how I should be feeling, I just needed someone to sit there. And that was it, just to have a body, just to have someone present so I didn't feel alone. That's what saved my life. To be honest with you, that's what saved my life.
It's definitely impactful. Just maybe little subtle actions. Just some
Yeah.
people might say as little actions can make amazing and huge impact. Just that alone. Like he didn't say
Yeah.
anything. He's just there,
Yeah.
right? But you felt like you said you weren't alone,
Yeah.
and you can get through this. And from that, you're able to learn a lot about yourself and just like situation, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Little actions have huge
Definitely.
consequences or impacts. Really, how you want to look at it.
Yeah, it's true. But look, this is the huge thing that happened, man. We got raw minds. I'm sitting here meeting you. Anthony's my co-host. Met amazing men and women too that came on here and shared their stories. And just because of him holding space for me, who knows? If he didn't do that, maybe this thing wouldn't be here, man.
Mhm.
It's just that little action that he did turned this beautiful thing into amazing platform to have people come and share their stories and just talk shit, man.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, you want to tell us a little bit more about your book, just to plug some more in there, man, so everybody can know and
Well,
where they can find your
hold on.
book.
Hold on. Let's go back before the book because I
Oh,
feel like we were getting to the direction. I kind of want to get
okay.
up to the
Let's
point
do it.
of like, this sounds shitty when I say it like this, but where it kind of all fell apart that led you to writing the book.
So with my book, I just broke up with my shooting star Lola probably a few months prior, and it was just like that, like threw me off my game. Like I
Yeah.
was like, damn, and it was just that, just thinking about like, okay, well, if I was good enough there, like I was good enough before, like think about all those thoughts basically started coming in. So I was just like, okay, trying to bury, and that's basically in the December time frame where I was doing everything, like drinking,
Mhm.
did that, working out, did that. I figured I could just sweat it out, right? Just put so much energy that I'm just drained and I could just sleep. Sleeping pills to just sleep at night because all this pain.
Were you just grasping for everything in that moment, just to
Easy.
see whatever worked, right?
Ex-
Just like here, here.
Exactly. Just like
Yeah.
numbing the
Okay.
pain, right? I was just
Yeah.
like trying to bury it and just make it go away.
Yeah.
And that's where I worked out and just, that how my book came about. Just, I guess more just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Throwing everything on paper. And that's where you also feel in it too, because for me, you're reliving that situation again.
Mhm.
So you didn't go through it one time. Now you're going through it 2 times.
Mhm.
And that's where the healing part came from, was reliving every single thing that in my entire life, all the bad stuff, and reliving it again, but also feeling
Mhm.
it at the same time.
And that's how you healed.
Exactly.
It's a fucking
Yeah.
heavy experience.
You were going
Go ahead.
through that and you're having a hard time, and let's face it, when you're going through hard times, man, you're clouded, and all you can think about is the issue of hand, right? Like that's, but now that you had some time to go through that, you started writing your book, and it's almost like you stepped back and kind of smelled the flowers and had a more clear mind and learned how to navigate a little bit more to get through those things.
Definitely. I think it's crazy when you think about it, because a lot of people, it's a little, people say, time heals, right?
Mhm.
It might take a while, a couple years, but honestly, in my opinion, what I've feel now and what I experience, that
Mhm.
you can literally expedite that process immediately if you
Mhm.
just
Yep.
face it directly.
Yep.
Instead of
Yeah.
years, guess what? You just took a couple months.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you didn't have a heart, but you literally faced that pain. And you
Yeah.
expedited that process tremendously just by going through that experience.
See, yeah, I'm gonna disagree on a little thing when people say time heals. Me personally, I don't think time heals. I think time helps you forget a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that's me personally. That's what I think. I mean,
I agree.
you will always have that. There's scars. You will always have those scars, right? And I don't think that it really heals, but it helps you cope better, I guess you could say.
Easily. You just don't
Yeah.
feel that as much pain anymore. Like even my
Yeah.
mom passed when, 2011 when she passed. Like, I
Mhm.
still have my moments, right? Mother's Day, around her birthday, you know, it's definitely, it impacts us, right? Just any type
Mhm.
of loss.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize at the time, it's like, you know, time was basically making it feel less painful. But if you're fresh, new to the situation, if you're able
Mhm.
to go through that pain directly,
Mm.
you cut down that process
Yeah.
dramatically.
It doesn't
Yeah.
fester.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, like I have a thing about grief, you know, and this is how how I explain it. I heard it a long time ago, and I think it's a great explanation. So, I would grief is like um, you're on a ship and it wrecks, right? You're in the middle of the water. There's ship pieces everywhere, and you're literally holding on to like a piece of the ship, right? And these waves are just coming at you nonstop, like every second, right? You're getting hit by these waves, and these waves are grief, right? And it's just nonstop. Then you're in this water, and then a couple days go by. Now these waves are not every second, but maybe every 5 minutes. These waves are coming in and they're crashing and hitting you, and then you're still out in the water, and now a couple of more days go by, or months go by, and now from seconds to 5 minutes to it could be days now, so maybe every couple of days, you know, these waves come and hit you, and then as time goes by, you know, these waves lessen and they take longer to get to hit you, you know, and then years go by, and maybe, you know, you go by a street sign, you know, and you see a street that brings up a memory, then that wave will come, or a smell, you know, and that's how I see grief, you know. It'll hit you hard at the start, but then slowly, man, those waves will just start slowing down and slowing down, and like I said, the pain will always be there. Let's face it, the pain will always be there, but it's just a matter of you learn to, I guess, I hate saying you learn to cope with it, but
It's,
let's be real. It's the truth,
it's
right?
acceptance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
acceptance.
Yeah. That's what it
Exactly.
is.
I love that. Acceptance. Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, you know, from that's how I wrote my book. But like my book is
Mhm.
basically, it's like categorized in like two parts. The first part is basically childhood, you know, military, stuff like that, up to my last relationship. And then I go to like a part two that's in the
Mhm.
book. That's more just, it talks about acceptance, accountability, forgiveness. But also my last chapter, I call it, it's called Warpath. And it sounds very militaristic and very like aggressive, but it's really not. So how I describe it is basically committing to something with everything you got and have that no quit mentality. Either it could
Mhm.
be a, you know, a career, it could be a relationship, you know, it could be however you want to apply it, and just finding a way to get it, you know, either you can make it or you can take it. Pick one,
Mm.
right? You know,
I like
obviously,
it.
you know, you take it legally, or, you know, like
Yeah.
you achieve
Yeah.
it, right? You know, I don't
Mhm.
mean to just
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
take something, but
Yeah.
you know, it's that warpath where you're just honed in. You're just, you know, if you want to get to like this podcast, say be, you know, multi-million subscribers, right? You're gonna work towards it. You're gonna bring the family along with you. You know, like whoever wants to go with you, let's go. If you don't, then
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You missed the train.
Exactly.
Yeah, brother. You know, and like Anthony says before, is pick your hard, man. At the end of the day, pick your hard. Is your heart gonna be working hard to feel better, or is your heart gonna be laying in bed all day and doing nothing? You
Working
know?
hard so that nothing changes.
Yeah, yeah. Pick your
It's all
heart.
hard. Like everything's fucking hard.
Everything,
Getting
man.
getting rich is hard. Being broke is hard.
I
Getting
think
the
being
job.
broke is more hard, man. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. So yeah, it's just pick your fucking hard. What do you
yeah,
want to
man.
do?
So after the book, you know, writing all that after the book, how do you feel, man?
What's your warpath today,
Yeah,
Juan?
Is
yeah.
to change as many lives as I can. That's
Fuck yeah.
basically, you know, when I got into podcasting and speaking events and marketing, I don't know how to do that. I'm just learning as I go and
Yeah.
just figuring it out. But I
We
think
get
just,
it, buddy. We
yeah,
get
Yes,
it.
we're on the same. We have no idea what the fuck we're doing, but we're doing it, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's all about just keeping it up, man, and just
Mhm.
keep on pushing forward, because eventually something's gonna snap, right?
Yeah, I
A
think,
good snap, I mean.
yeah. So I think that's where I work hard because I see it's impacting people on like
Mhm.
on a very genuine level, like a deep level. So like I'll work like, you know, 18 or 16, 20 hours a day for like 3 days and then I crash. for like
Yeah.
a day, and then I do it
Yeah.
again. My family's just like, well, you gotta. My sisters mainly just like, you gotta slow down. You're gonna burn out. I was like, I'm a ride till wheels fall off.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I think just seeing how it's changing people's lives. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Is to change as many lives as I can. You know, while I'm still here. So.
Yeah. Paying it forward and leaving a footprint for other people to step in and have the right path, you know, and helping them, man. That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
I fucking love it, brother. Have you ever
Fuck,
started, like, thought about starting your own podcast?
Eventually, I think eventually down the line. So I'm going to like, I'm working on the clothing line now. I'm actually working
Hell yeah.
on. I'll eventually go to like a coaching space,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely probably some in the future when, you know, I actually can dial back the marketing efforts and actually
Mhm.
focus on, you know, maybe podcasting in the future. So just seeing where it goes.
Well, hit me up, man. I will definitely help you with the podcasting stuff. I will, whatever you need, I can help you drive you right into the right direction, man. I'm all about paying it forward. I've helped other people. I would love to help you in that, man, and push that forward with you. And when you
Definitely.
do get that going, man, come back on the show, dude, and we'll plug
Yeah.
the shit out of your
We'll
podcast
collab it
too,
up.
man.
I'll
Yeah, dude.
definitely appreciate it. I definitely probably need that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Yeah, feel free. Like, I mean, you got my number, man. So feel free anytime you want. Hit me up, man, and I will walk you through. I'll screen share. I'll walk you through it, man. I'm all about, you know, helping people. I want everybody around me to like make money. I want everybody to be successful. You know, like I don't understand these people that get jealous. I don't understand these people that get jealous. You know, like it's not about that, man. It's about leveling up everybody around you, man. At the end of the day, we're brothers and sisters in this world. You know, we gotta take care of each other, man. You know,
Exactly. You know,
if you made $1 million, buddy, I'd be your fuck yeah, bro. You know what I mean? Like I'd be hyping you up, man. It's all about that shit, man.
definitely what I've noticed is it's a more of an insecurity. What I've noticed is a lot of people see like you're doing really good and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, why is he doing that? Or, you know, it's an insecurity issue that you're doing something they wanted to and they don't want to talk about it or ask for help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what I've
Yeah.
noticed.
I mean, you have to ask for help, man. Like everybody needs to ask for help at one day. I'm fucking shitty at it, and I still
Mhm.
have to do it. But I'm the worst person, man. I'm horrible at it. But I do it once in a while, and I'll admit, man, it sucks sometimes, you know, because as humans, we think we know everything, right? At the end of the day, or we want to, right?
Well, you
But
got to
it's
throw your
true, man.
pride and your ego aside to fucking be able to ask for help.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm the same way. Like honestly, I'll ask it occasionally. It's probably rare,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's, you know, maybe I'm stubborn, like ego,
I'm
pride.
so guilty of it. Well,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
fucking
man.
societal norm.
Mhm.
Well,
For, like,
especially
it's like-
being a man, right?
That's what I mean. Like it's
yeah.
ingrained in us to figure it out ourselves. The
Yeah.
one thing I will say that I feel like people struggle with when it comes to asking for help is they're trying to control the narrative. They're trying
Yeah.
to control the outcome. Well,
Yeah.
if I ask for help, I'm going to be a burden to this person. I hate to tell you, but you don't get to fucking decide if you're a burden in somebody's life or not.
Yeah,
That's up to
definitely,
them.
man. Yeah.
And 99% of the time, you're fucking not. But your brain will tell you that you are, but
Mhm.
you're not.
And you know what? That's the worst thing too, man. Is your brain plays the biggest tricks on you. And we've said this
Oh, yeah.
again. The hardest battle you'll ever have to face is the one in your head.
Yep.
It's the hardest battle you'll ever have to face is the one in your head.
I've had arguments with people in my head that aren't even in the same fucking room as me.
Holy deja vu! I've heard that before. I love
Yeah.
it. I fucking love it. It's
Nice.
so true, man.
Mhm.
It's so true. So when's the next book, brother?
So my next one is basically I'm gonna do probably a journal. Basically, the
Yeah.
questions I have in my book and just give space to write. But I don't think there's gonna be another book.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
when I'm older, I'll maybe write like, "Hey, this is what happened." You know, from
Yeah.
this is probably years and years down the line. It's just hard to tell another story. I literally told you my
Yeah.
story, so I think, you know, probably the next book would probably be that journal, and that's pretty much
Yeah.
it.
You say that now, but then watch 3 weeks later, this guy's gonna have another book bestseller.
Yeah.
I hope so, brother.
I have a feeling like you writing your book is like just the fucking beginning for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I feel like
Me too.
you are just about to embark on this journey of so many amazing experiences. And I'm not a fucking woo-woo fortune teller, none of that shit. But I just have a feeling like
Yeah,
Your
man.
book is going to do great things, but what's going to come out of this good thing is far more great things that you need to tell the world about. And you're just like, you're going to learn so many more things, not only about yourself, but about others that you want to just continue to fucking share.
I think I see it in you, man. I don't like I
Yeah.
said, I see something, man. I can't put my name on it or put something on it, but like I see something, man, in your future, definitely. Like
Mhm.
that. I ain't no Miss Cleo, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just how you hold yourself, how you talk, how you just want to help people, man. There's something, bro. Maybe it's the podcast, maybe it's not the book, maybe it's the podcast that you're gonna start
Maybe
or
it's the
something,
clothing.
man.
Maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe it's but there's something definitely. I feel it, man. I just got goosebumps. Like I feel it, bro. You're here to change the world, man. And I appreciate you.
Definitely, I love the input. It's definitely like I'm just
Yeah.
trying to figure it out. So when you get other
Yeah.
people's perspective, it's definitely for me.
Yeah.
It motivates me to continue
Hell
going.
yeah. Yeah, man. And if you ever feel unmotivated, just give me a call and I'll kick you in the ass and be like, "Let's go, bro. You're
We'll just
doing good,
fucking
man."
send another bottle of whiskey to your door and see what happens.
Yeah,
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 I know,
brother.
right?
100%. Is there anything else you want to bring up or?
I think that's pretty good. I think
Yeah.
got pretty much
Okay,
everything.
why don't you plug it again, man? Tell everybody about your book, your website, where they can reach you. Shoot it out again, man. We want everybody to flood your way, man, and show you some love.
Awesome. So my book, Unbroken, Turning Pain into Purpose, it's on Amazon. It's relatively cheap because I want people to actually read it.
Mhm.
My website is juanespinoza.me. That's where my email is basically mail@juanespinoza.me. My contact information is on the website. And also there's a little contact form. Just if anybody needs help or need advice or someone to talk to, always just shoot me an
Mhm.
email and I'll connect with you and we can actually talk it out.
Hell yeah. I just have to say, I tried to buy the book, but I can't get it in Canada, or I would have read it already. So I want to apologize. But me and you've been talking. You're
Yeah.
sending one over,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then I'll be digging into that bad boy
Yeah, I
for
think it
sure.
was a prime issue from United States
Yeah.
to Canada, because
Yeah.
Canadians are not like us. So
Maybe we should. Yeah, maybe we should just go to the States and become the 51st state, just so we
Yeah.
don't have to deal with this inconvenient bullshit every
Yeah,
time.
no doubt, man. No doubt. Not
So-
like us. I fucking love it.
So before we plug our stuff, which we didn't do at the beginning,
Can I just give you shit because we did that dad talks the other day?
I know. So when you called me the other day, I was like, thank God, because I know exactly where you're going. So I wasn't gonna forget tonight. So I
Okay,
have
good.
one question for you, Juan.
Yep.
What's your message to the world in one sentence?
Can I do 2 questions?
Sure.
Okay. Pain is a teacher. What is it teaching you? Are you broken or unbroken? That's your choice.
Fucking
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
Fucking love it, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That is fucking awesome, brother. Anthony asks all our guests, except for Dad Talks. He asks all our guests that question because we want you to push that out into the world, man, and hopefully it resonates with someone. So, and can I just say, thank you, Ukraine, for listening. We hit Ukraine. This is big.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah, man. So we see you, Ukraine, and we give you lots of love. Thank you for tuning in
crazy.
to us. Yeah, it's
crazy.
wild, man. Wild. And Spain. Thank you, Spain, too.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so we're in 20 different countries now. So
You're
thank you.
global.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
are, man.
Oh yeah.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that's listening. This means the world to us. Listening onto whatever platform and us bullshitting, it's amazing. This is why we do this, to, just push it out there and have a good time. And we hope that, it resonates with someone or it touches someone or just you enjoy listening to our babble. So
Or it
thank
rubs
you.
you the wrong way to the point where you decide to change your fucking life.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And if you have any problems of what we talk about, you could get it back to us at rawmindspodcast@gmail.com or just fucking shoot us a message. I'll let you do it, Anthony.
No. You're gonna do it
man.
tonight. You're gonna do it
Okay,
tonight.
I love
You're
it.
already
Yeah,
on
so
it.
I love it. I know I was stealing your limelight
That's
there
okay.
for a
That's
second.
okay.
But yeah, if you want to be like Juan, man, hop on, shoot us an email at rawmindspodcast@gmail.com. You want to be a guest, sit in the hot seat, bullshit with us, or even if you just want someone to hold some space for, man, that's what we do. We also have connections all over the world. So if you're dealing with, sobriety or something, addiction or whatever it may be, you can reach out to us and we will get you that info and the contacts to help you out. And like I said, if you just need someone to vent to, I mean, we're fucking there's a non-judgment area and we're here to help, man. Or, reach out to Juan, check him out, man. What he's doing is amazing too, so we're all here,
And
all of us.
and we also do have a website with a lot of resources for all over the world, rawminds.ca. You can get all our episodes there. There's resources if you're struggling. And we also have a Discord that
We
Eric
do.
has put together.
Oh, I almost forgot.
I didn't forget. I learned a lot of lessons from the last one. I shit the bed quite a bit, so. But it's not getting aired anyways because we're going to refilm it, so it's perfect. So if you have any comments, follow us on all our socials at Raw Minds Podcast. We're on all streaming platforms. We're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, all of them, YouTube.
Yeah.
Follow us on YouTube. Our analytics tell us that like fucking 90% of the people who listen aren't following us. Hit one button and change our lives so we can continue to help change yours.
And follow Juan too, man.
Yes.
Follow Juan.
Are you on YouTube, Juan?
Yes, sort of. So basically, I just do my podcast and I'll throw like shorts in there.
Yep.
But I do my podcast, just Juan Espinoza, I'll be there. So eventually I'll grow that, but I'm just slowly doing it.
It's all good. We are too, man. We just started hitting YouTube not too long ago. Well, like we were uploading to YouTube, but we weren't really playing around with it too much.
We weren't paying attention to it. And then we looked and we're like, holy fuck, like we're getting like 14,000 views in a month. And we're like, we should probably start caring about this. So we care and we see you. Lee, we see you here every week, man. We appreciate it.
Hell yeah, Lee.
And everybody who continues to come in, we genuinely appreciate you all.
And all comments too, man. You leave a comment, we will reply. We'll get back to you. We appreciate everything. There's not one comment that we missed. We're very involved with all our listeners.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that.
And we appreciate you, Juan, coming out, telling your story. I really love how how you integrated your book in tonight's conversation.
Love it.
It was kind of like a beautiful execution of like your book and genuine conversation between the three of us. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Definitely. I enjoyed being here. Just, it's easy to talk to when you're actually living it. And, it's not like a book that it's just a bunch of like made up stuff. It's like legit stuff. So, I definitely enjoyed this experience.
Awesome, man.
Thank you.
Well, you're part of the Raw Minds family now too, brother. All our guests, all all our other guests, we appreciate all of you guys, man. So, and especially you, we appreciate that. And you're more than welcome to come back anytime you want, man. We honestly. And then when you do the podcast, like I said, hit us up, man. We will fucking push that shit as much as we can, and we'll do a collab. And if you got any questions or need help with anything, man, I'm here for you, and I'm here to help you pay it forward.
And whenever you have I know you said you have a clothing line and stuff dropping, let us know. And we'll plug it for you as well.
Yeah,
but
dude.
Whenever it's dropped, just let us know, and whatever episode we got coming up, we'll fucking throw it in there.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
100%. I'll make a little short for you. I'll push it out. We'll do what we can to help.
Awesome.
We're all
Thanks so much.
helping. So you're welcome, man. Well, on that note, thank you everybody for listening. That's
another
our
day.
Yeah, man. Oh, we have actually tomorrow. Well, if you're listening to this on Friday or any other day past
it was
that,
3 days ago.
Yeah, it was 3 days ago. Tomorrow we're doing a collaboration with No Deadbeat Dad Society, my good buddy Leland there. We're going to do a 2-part podcast. We're going to do one on his podcast, and then we're going to do one on our podcast. So it's going to be awesome. And he is actually retiring that podcast and handing over the torch to us. So we hope that we can step up to the plate for his listeners, and, hopefully we resonate. Some of the shit resonates with them. So one love to that, man. So check out tomorrow. I think it's 5:30 Pacific time.
8:30.
Yeah, man. Well, on that note, Juan, thank you so much, man. This is a great fucking episode, man, and we appreciate you a lot, man. And I'm proud to call you my brother, man.
Awesome. I appreciate it. I love this experience. This is fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, anytime, brother.
Yeah, literally anytime.
Yeah, man. Well, That's us. Bye.
Bye.